everybody. I thought I would do a very short video on Bakasana, or crow pose. So this is an arm balance, and this is one of the first arm balances that I learned to do. Probably, I can't actually do that many arm balances, but it's my favourite one to do. So I'm going to go through a couple of different stages of teaching it. Just make sure you are adequately warmed up before attempting crow pose. So even if you just do, maybe 5 rounds of sun salutations, A or B, make sure you're nice and warmed up through the backs of your legs, through your hamstrings as well, and also through your arms. So yeah, a few rounds of sun sal A's can help with that, maybe 5 or so, and then come and try crow pose. So what we're going to do first is come in onto all fours into a tabletop and spread your hands nice and wide on your mat with your fingers splayed apart, and hands are about shoulder distance roughly. So the main thing to take away from this tutorial is do not, whatever you do, look down. So as soon as you look down, your centre of gravity will take over and you will fall down. Not that you have far to fall, mind you, you're only going to be, 10 centimetres off the ground. That. Come here, Willie. Come on. Come say hello. Come on. Come on, Willie. Yes. You want to do crow pose? Yeah. Good girly. Okay. So that's the main, if you take away anything from this tutorial, if it's just that, then I'm happy with that. So even if you're very, very brand new to crow pose and you can't even lift 1 foot up off the mat, as long as you're focusing on looking forward, eventually the more you practice, the more you do this pose, the better you'll get, just like anything. If you keep that eye gaze forward rather than down and dropping the head down, you'll find it so much easier to be able to lift 1 foot and then both feet up off the ground, and then to be able to maintain and hold the pose. Okay, beautiful. So let's come into tabletop, back into our fingers splayed wide. I might have to move you, darling. You want to go have a look out the window? Come on. Yeah, sorry, I called you over and I'm kicking you off. Oh, look, down, down. Okay, so your fingers are splayed nice and wide on your mat. Look forward straight away, so don't look down, look forward. Now, I'm going to teach this how I learned how to do it. So some people will use a block, and sometimes in a class I may also teach this using a block as well, but I'm not going to use a block for this one, okay? So when you come into your tabletop, your fingers are splayed wide. Lift up through your hips, so your hips lift up high to the sky as if you're coming into a downward facing dog. Walk your feet in, keep looking forward though, towards your hands. So this is where you need to be nice and warm, just so your hamstrings feel nice and loose and not too tight. Bend your knees out to either side. So how I learned to do this was by wrapping the inside of my knees to the outside of my arms and pressing my knees into my triceps. I think this is called crane pose maybe, I'm not sure. So this is how I started, and I was able to come up with both feet and hold this for quite a while until I progressed to bringing the arms high up onto the backs, the legs high up onto the backs of the arms. So start with this, wee. So press your knees into your upper triceps, look forward, your toes are together. Just try to draw the shoulders back and away from the ears, and start to lift the sitting bones up high to the sky. So this might be where you're at, and start to feel a transfer of weight. So you're going to feel the weight come into the hands and the arms and hold, and come back down. So it might just be practicing this until you're ready to move on to the next stage. So lift the hips up high, look forward, hold, lower down. Okay, if you'd like to try the next stage, you're going to look forward, lift the hips up high, and then lift one foot up, and then place it down and lift the other foot up. So look forward, lift the hips high, lift one foot up, down, the other, down, up, down, up, down. Come down to rest, maybe draw your knees in. You can even just sit back into thunderbolt pose. Circle the arms around a few times. And let's come into the next stage. So bring your toes to touch, heels are apart, knees splay, and then come and press gently into the tops of your arms. Fingers are splayed wide, shoulder distance apart. Look forward, don't look down, lift the hips high. Lift one foot and then maybe lift the other and hold. Just hold for as long as you can. Place one foot down, place the other. Draw the knees in, maybe come back into your thunderbolt pose. Circle the arms around, shake them out. And we'll now come into the next stage, which is the legs up high on the arms. So with these stages, if you are able to lift both feet up and hold the pose, even if it's for a couple of seconds, maybe practice just working with that until you can hold, I don't know, for at least 10-15 seconds, and then you can maybe try bringing the arms up high. So now we draw the knees in, and you need to hug them right into your armpits. Make sure you're not wearing a long sleeve top, because if you have material on material, you're just going to slip and your legs will slip off. So you need bare arms. Okay, so you start to bring the knees to the inside of the arms, bring them as high up as you can. Toes are together, heels are apart. Look forward, lift the hips up high, lift through the legs, look forward, lift one foot, place it down, lift the other, place it down, come back down, and you may just be there for a while. So you can practice that. And now let's try full crow pose, Bakasana. So look forward again. Take a couple of rounds of breath. Make sure not to hold your breath with the pose. Always breathing in through the nose, out through the nose. Look forward. Weight will start to transfer into the arms. Gently claw the mat with your fingertips. Lift the sitting bones high to the sky. Hug the knees into the armpits. Lift one foot. Lift the other. Hold. Drop one foot. Drop the other. Bring the knees in. Sit down onto your sitting bones. Bring your legs out in front. Give them a little bit of a shake. Maybe circle the arms around. And that is my very short and sweet tutorial on crow. I enjoyed that.